Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Smells Like. I'm Josh. So good to see you. This is another episode of Sampling Sunday. Although I'm a day late, it's technically Monday, but we're gonna stick with the Sampling Sunday theme. I actually did wear this fragrance that I'm gonna talk. That's my dog walking around. Yeah, look at the dog. This is the culprit right there. That's him right there. That's the culprit. Like I was saying, wore this for my sampling, my Sunday sampling that I do every week, and I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with Chanel's Boy. So, Boy is from Les Exclusifs de Chanel, Chanel's high-end line. Came out in 2016. The perfumer is Olivier Polge. Olivier Polge, son of longtime Chanel perfumer Jacques Polge. So he's now taken over the reins as the in-house perfumer for Chanel. Extremely talented perfumer. He's already done a ton of great designer fragrances. And now he's added a couple to the Chanel exclusives. Boy is interesting. At first, I wasn't blown away by Boy. So the top notes are grapefruit, lavender, and lemon. And to me, I really just got a big dose of that Chanel lavender. The mid notes, the heart notes are geranium, orange blossom, and rose. And I feel like I get a lot of that geranium, that almost soapy, a little bit sharp, very fresh geranium. So I feel like I mainly got the lavender and the geranium. The base notes here are tonka, heliotrope, sandalwood, vanilla, oak moss, and musk. And out of those, I feel like I really get a lot of that sandalwood, the moss, and the musk. So those are kind of my key notes: lavender, geranium, sandalwood, oak moss, and musk. Those are really my main one. This is classified as an aromatic fougere, and it very much is like a modern, kind of very Chanel-ish version, and very like modernized version of the classic men's fougere, that classic kind of mossy, barbershop-y type of fragrance. Fragrances that this reminds me of from Chanel, I feel like it's got a little bit of like Allure Homme or Allure Homme Edition Blanche, that sort of little bit of that tonka bean thing that's in the base here, a little bit of that sandalwood. It's my dog walking around. A little bit of that sandalwood that is in those fragrances. And then it reminds me of Platinum Egoiste because of that kind of shaving foam, barbershop-y vibe, the lavender and the moss that Platinum Egoiste has. Probably that sandalwood too is probably in Platinum Egoiste. So, like I was saying, when I first put this on, I kind of thought that it was just going to be kind of like a run-of-the-mill, fresh, barbershop-y type of fragrance, and I thought it was nice. It had the Chanel quality, but it really didn't wow me. But then when I wore it for an entire day, I think particularly dressed up a little bit, I think this would be a great work fragrance or a great like special occasion, like dressed up type of fragrance. Because wearing it for an entire day, you know, while wearing like a suit, that kind of dressed up vibe with this fragrance, this stuff really shines on skin, and over the course of the wearing, it develops, it becomes warm in some stages. It also has some light in it that is what I love about a lot of the Chanel fragrances. It has so much of this like brightness and light in it. I don't know if where that's coming from necessarily. There's really a richness to this fragrance. Sometimes there's a little bit of like a grittiness. The way that some fougères can have that kind of like grittiness that, you know, is contrasted with the smoothness of other things. You've got sandalwood and some other things that are smooth. Then you've got lavender, which can have a little bit of grit to it. You've got, you know, oak moss definitely has some grit to it. And you've got this great musk in this fragrance that really works well on the skin. So like I said, when I did my recent video talking about a bunch of Chanel exclusive samples that I got, Boy was one that I was kind of on the fence about. And after giving it, you know, two good full wearings, I am much more in favor of the fact that I may really need to get a bottle of this. In terms of fragrances that I've sampled lately, this has to be kind of at the top of the class. It really is. It has a wearability to it. It has a kind of a crowd pleaser nature to it. I think probably the tonka bean and a little bit of that like tonka bean vanillic sandalwood base, I think gives it somewhere to land that is pretty safe. But then you have, you know, a really strong lavender note, some other florals in there, kind of mixing it up. I feel like it has a uniqueness over a base that's kind of safe. Takes a little bit of that Chanel DNA of fragrances like the Allure Homme, and kind of gives it a little bit of like a classic / modern fougere approach, if that makes sense. This has to be one of my favorite fougères that I've tried, just in terms of, you know, kind of the modern fougères that are giving like a nod to old-fashioned fougères. This has to be one of my favorites that I've tried, so I'm looking forward to wearing really the rest of this sample, and then I have a feeling I'm gonna need more. So I don't know if I'll go straight to a full bottle. There's some other Chanel exclusives that I think I might want to get before this one. But as it stands right now, this is probably at least like maybe second in line. So it's come up to where it was before. I really do enjoy this. Again, I think this is gonna be great for the spring. And kind of, it's nice. It's just such a classy, well put together fragrance. It has that sort of understated thing that makes Chanel perfumes so great, but it also has a little bit of glitz. There's a little bit of glamour in there, along with a little bit of sort of easy to access. So I feel like there's a great balance to this fragrance. Balance of classic and modern, balance of, you know, kind of easy and daring, understated and a little bit bold. Really just, you're getting the best of both worlds in a lot of those categories. So really pleased that I got to finally try Boy from Chanel, named after Chanel's longtime love, Boy Capel. I've been reading a little bit about Chanel's life and everything, and apparently Boy Capel was like kind of her muse, or what she said was like the male version of herself. So you'd have to imagine that there was a lot of inspiration when Olivier Polge was making this, to make this something that really you know, had a lot of Chanel's heritage in it, and also give kind of like a masculine tone to that kind of classic Chanel feeling, that classic Chanel vibe. So I think he really did a good job with that. So Chanel Boy, let me know in the comments if you've tried this one, what you think about this one. Do you think it smells more like Platinum Egoiste, or do you think it smells more like Chanel Allure Homme, that sort of side, or do you think it doesn't smell like any of those at all? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you'd like to again sometime, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right here at Smells Like Fragrance channel for another video next time. Thanks so much for watching.